Hey guys, I'm back. So excited to be here with you. Pardon my delay. I was up north for 2 weeks and went up to the northern woods of Wisconsin and got back to nature and enjoyed some time with Mother Earth. So it was really wonderful. And then, of course, it was the 4th of July holiday. As you can see, I have a little more sun than I needed, but all is well. So excited to be here with you. Um, Looking forward to being more consistent with the videos and producing at least a couple videos for a week. So excited about that. So I wanted to talk today about intuition. After getting back to nature and spending some time just really decompressing and chillaxing, if you will, intuition really comes to mind. So it's something that I wanted to share with you. We live in such a busy culture. Granted, COVID has helped us slow down a bit, but there's still, especially if you're a mom like I am, there's still always so much on our plate. And it's just this constant go, go, go. And it's very mental and in the brain. Um, and so it's important to remember that our most intelligent guidance comes from within, and it's from the heart and from the body, not the brain. So, intuition is defined in the dictionary as a knowing or feeling without conscious reasoning. So, the without conscious reasoning is really important because we are so in the brain all of the time that every time we try to answer a really important question, we go to the brain instead of the heart or the body or the soul. Um, I personally believe that we were made in the image of God, that they are parts of us that are higher than um, in the way of intelligence and knowingness, that are above our physical being, that we cannot tap into if we are solely in the brain and in the body. Um, so while we may need our brain to produce an answer to the question, what is 1 plus 1? Um, those are the types of questions that we should go to our brain for when we are trying to decide if we should quit our job or how to have a purposeful life or any tough decision that you're not sure what that answer is. That should come from the heart and from the body and from your higher guidance. I believe, again, I will preface what I believe because I don't want to project on you what is truth. This is my knowing, and I'm going to resonate with some people and I'm not going to with others. And so if doesn't feel right to you, then it's not for you. It doesn't make me bad or wrong. It just means it's not for you. We all have our own path. We all have things that are true for us. And I say everything pretty carefully because there is an underlying foundation of absolute truths. Murder will always be wrong. I can't say that my truth is that murder's not wrong. That would be ridiculous. So, and I have to even be careful to say it that way, but hopefully that's not taken out of context. So there are things that are going to be true for you that are above or outside of that foundation of absolute truth. So to quit your job or to start a purpose-driven life or business, what that might be is going to be your truth. There are things that are specific to us outside of that foundation of absolute truth. So kind of going back to why we would want to use our intuition is that higher guidance, that smarter, more intelligent part of us speaks to us through our intuition. And it is outside of the logical reasoning of our brain. It is internal and it is also external, which can be kind of confusing. This can be scientifically proven that within, I believe it's an EEG, they can measure brain waves that are outside of the brain. There are pieces of information or energy or intelligence that are coming from the ether above us. I personally believe it's from God through our higher self and into our body. Our body is very intelligent, and we can feel through our body what is right and wrong, and that is part of intuition. I kind of like to view it as the confirmation system. If you get goosebumps, I call them God bumps. That's that's a sign that you're on the right track. It's your body is very intelligent. Many people know that we have not only the head brain, but we have a heart brain and we have a gut brain. So our body is one of the first to know. Our brain is one of the last to know, which is very interesting to think about that way. So to tap into your intuition is going to provide clarity. When you feel confused and you don't know what to do, you're too much in your head, and you need to get out of your head and into your body. Get outside, put your feet on the ground, let Mother Earth regenerate your body through the ions that are passed through your feet from the earth. You're grounding. We are an electromagnetic being. We need to be grounded just the same way as the wires for your house need to be grounded. If your house isn't grounded and you turn on your television, you're going to get static. It's fuzz. That's the same with our bodies. If we are not releasing and grounding our energy and passing it back through the earth and getting new energy and refreshing, we're going to be fuzzy, like a static ETV. So the clarity comes when we are grounded, when we are still, when we are listening, and we're feeling into our intuition. So I have mentioned before, and I probably will mention 1,000 times in all of the videos I ever make, because it's so incredibly important. But the heart electromagnetic field is 5,000 times greater than the brain. So what that should say to you is the brain is not intended to be running the show. Certainly the brain is necessary to pump the blood to the heart, but the heart is more intelligent than the brain. So we've really got to get out of our head, focus on our heart, let our heart start to regulate. I'll post a link below, but you can go to the Heart Math Institute, and there's a whole page on the science of this, but essentially it's worth repeating that if you look at brain waves when the head is in control and there is no heart coherence, they're very jagged, rigid lines. When you look at the brain waves when there is heart coherence, you have more of a flowing, even-keeled, consistent line of waves. So there's science to it, is really all you need to know. So when people say follow your heart, that comes from somewhere. There is the intelligence of the heart. And when we can get into stillness and get into heart coherence and find that calmness and that clarity, that's when the intuition is going to come in. What you need is very important. So if you are feeling that your job is stressing you out and it's not working for you, it's not serving you, it's not nourishing you or fulfilling you, that is a genuine, valid need. There is some part of that higher intelligence, your guidance, your intuition that's saying, this is not right for me and I can't function, I can't hear my guidance in this environment, therefore I need to make a change. So we'll talk a little bit about needs today, and I'll get more into it at another time, but there's the I need that new car, I need that new dress. That is not a need, that is a want. So we have to be very careful to decipher between the needs and the wants. But if you are feeling that your job is sucking the life out of you, or your neighborhood is not safe, those are genuine, valid needs that are coming up to be addressed so that you can be in a place where you can hear your intuition, where you can be open, where you can be relaxed and calm and still enough to hear what the proper next steps are for you. It's very mysterious. It's not logical, and that's kind of something we need to wrap our heads around. Is it's not linear. We like to plan and say, I'm going to graduate college, I'm going to go to university, I'm going to get my master's degree, I'm going to get a good job, I'm going to get married, I'm going to buy a house, I'm going to have kids, right? That's all very linear. If this, then that type of processes and strategies. That is not how God or the universe or the divine works. It is mysterious. It is curious. It is surprising and awe-inspiring. It's really awesome and fun. If you can get to a place where you can trust all is well, you will always be taken care of. What you need and not want, what you need is valid. Your needs are valid. They need to be met so that you can get to a place where you can follow your intuition and your guidance. And what I believe personally is that we're all built to serve. And so if you can get to a place where your needs are met. You're in a calm, comfortable place where you're in trust and faith that you will be cared for. Beautiful and mysterious things will come in to take care of you, and you will be able to open to the flow of the universe, the flow that God has given to all of us, and it will flow through you. The intuition will come, and you'll be able to find that purpose-driven life that you probably deep down inside know you were created for. And I may have to find some new terms because I'm going to say it again. I personally believe that we are all built with special gifts. This is the foundation of the original business, value and intention-based education, because we all have value. We all are important. We are like pieces of a puzzle where we need to fit together. We need to maximize, and I'm getting God bumps. We need to maximize the gifts that we were given, and know that our weaknesses are opportunities for others to come in and work with us. They're not something we should feel bad about. They're a gift. They're kind of like a light bulb to say, hey, I need somebody who can help me with this. And that's where you start to call in the pieces of the puzzle, and your puzzle is intended to benefit the greater whole. We all are needed. You are needed. I am needed. Every individual is needed. At birth, we are pure, and before we are tainted with all of these societal conditions, that is who we were truly meant to be. So I got a little off topic there, but kind of going back to just the faith and trust and knowing that it is going to be mysterious. It's not going to be logical. It's not going to be the plan that you had. It's probably not the plan that you had. That's the hard part, is we get so stuck on or married to, or we cling to the way we thought it was going to happen, the way we wanted it to happen. But that clinging is resistance. It's blocking. Going back to the body and how that feels. So if you think about the plan that you had in place for your life, and then imagine you get fired from your job. That sucks, right? There's this clenching that happens in your body. There's a little bit of a freak out for at least a minute or two. That's natural. We all would do it. Where you get this feeling like, oh my gosh, what's going to happen? I can't pay my bills. I can't live in my house, blah, blah, blah. The monkey mind gets going. It catastrophizes, and you're going to be a bum on the street under the bridge. Probably not going to happen, but that's the natural tendency of the brain. We cannot cling to what we thought was supposed to happen, because that clinging is the resistance that's going to prevent us from opening up and relaxing. There has to be a relaxation in the body, in the mind, and it's kind of interesting. The trust fall comes to mind, where you have to be able to let yourself fall back into the arms of God and trust that you will be cared for. And it is that opening and that falling into it, the release and the surrender, that allows what you need to come in. It is the resistance and the clinging to and the holding that is going to prevent it. It's like a brick wall around you that keeps everything that's designed for you from coming to you. So resistance is definitely the enemy. Worry, stress, fear, anxiety, depression, all those things are part of that resistance. Remember, depression is concern for the past. Anxiety is concern for the future. Neither of those exist. The only thing that exists is right now. So all you can do is be here, be now, be in the now, and surrender. Do your trust fall into the moment, knowing that you're cared for. The Bible says, take no thought for your life. And I go back to that term all the time, because literally we are not supposed to be in our brain. Our brain is supposed to manage the functions of our body, help us do math. There's some things where the brain is needed, but determining the outcome of our life and determining our next steps as it relates to our purpose-driven life is for our higher guidance, for God and our intuition. So just remember that our intuition is divine source speaking through us. And our higher, more intelligent part of ourself is connected directly to that divine source, but it's like a roof that we put on our head that cuts us off. What do they say? Ego is edging God out. And a lot of times I really feel like thought is ego. The ego's constantly worried about having a plan or protecting against whatever the next danger or threat might be. And that's good to an extent, but we have a responsibility to manage our thoughts. So take no thought for your life. Do not think about it. Literally don't think about it. Think about getting in the shower, getting some exercise, getting out and grounding, getting at least 30 minutes of sun. Those are the things to think about. And then from there, in that moment, if you're having a hard time, wiggle your toes. Feel the grass beneath your feet. Feel your clothes on your skin. That's why the Buddha suggests watching your breath, because you're in your body and you're in the moment. The thoughts will try to run away with you, and that's something it requires exercise, just like a muscle. The best advice I've received recently was through the book Untethered Soul. Highly recommend. Highly recommend, especially for anybody who's a hard time managing thoughts. And it's a pretty simple concept. Certainly the book has more information I'm going to be able to provide here, but essentially the general crux of it is watch your thoughts. And I know that sounds difficult to understand until you start doing it, and you really have to just practice it to understand it. But imagine yourself as separate from your thoughts, that your thoughts are a thing or an entity separate from you, your soul. And this is true. I mean, you are the observer of the thoughts. You are not the thoughts itself. So to sit there and to watch them, using the losing your job example and the monkey mind and how it's going to catastrophize and how you get from losing your job to living under a bridge, and just watch. And I even personally like to say, I see you. And what's funny is when you watch the thought, or for me, when I say, I see you, I'm watching you, it's almost like it kind of turns around and looks at me like, oh, I better stop. It does slow down. It does calm down or stop or subside. And just knowing that those thoughts are separate from you, they kind of take on a life of their own. The book calls them melodramatic, and they are. Always catastrophizing, everything's horrible and awful, and we need to look out because we're going to die from whatever situation we're being faced with, which is rarely ever true. Another book I can recommend, it escapes me. I'll probably put it in the notes. But the author talks about whether or not your thoughts are true. You need to question your thoughts, and to do the work is to watch your thoughts, observe your thoughts, and determine whether or not they're true. And crazy percentage, probably 99% of the time, they're not true, which is kind of scary. So our thoughts are often lying to us and trying to deceive us with positive intent of taking care of us, but we need to be aware that we're not living in the Amazon anymore. We're not running from lions, that everything's going to be okay, and that, God makes sure the birds are fed. So you are far more important, and of course you will be taken care of. What else do I have? Watching the thoughts, detaching from them, making sure that you do not identify with them, and then catch them. So if you've observed a thought that is not true, identifying the core belief under it is helpful. But even just in that moment, saying, okay, I know that's not true. So then questioning what is the truth, and making sure to replace those thoughts with something positive. And you'll start to feel it in your body. When you have that negative thought, you get that resistance and that clench. I sometimes feel sick to my stomach. It just feels yucky. It's that like a heavy, dense, but when it feels good, you're like, oh, yes, yes, your fire is lit again. And again, you see the opening up, and there's a difference between this and this. This is true, this is untrue, right? So just really notice that. So when you're feeling the yuck, correct the thought and make sure you go back to the openness. Another key to intuition, you would not think, but is food and diet, and water. Hydration is absolutely critical. If you're dehydrated, you're going to have just a natural body clench. Think of a raisin, right? A dried fruit that just kind of shrivels up. It's a restriction. When the fruit is full of water, it's voluminous. So water is also a conductor of energy. So obviously, if we are electromagnetic beings, our thoughts can be measured electromagnetically. That means we're receiving an electromagnetic energy. Water is a conductor of energy. So we need to be hydrated so that we can be pulling in and flushing through, right? Nothing should ever be stagnant. I will share with you more information on magnetism and the torus field in the future. But if you can just imagine, the energy is coming through you and there's a cycle, and so it should continue to move, and it will move more fluidly if you're hydrated. That is all types of energy, not just thought. So another suggestion is vegetarianism, and I say that carefully because it may or may not be for you. I personally do not believe that eating a dead animal is going to serve you. Meat, dairy, and eggs are inflammatory. There are also beans and legumes and things that are not necessarily alkaline, but can be great transitioners. So I will never be someone to shame you for your dietary choices, but just know that meat, dairy, and eggs can cause aggravation. They cause inflammation in the body. They aggravate the microbiome. And prime example is when you see a kid who's just had sugar. They are like freaking out, but it's a direct result of the organisms in your body, the healthy microbiome freaking out. There's clear links through science and psychology of depression to food and the healthy microbiome. So there's that, and then there's also what the animals go through when they die. In the Japanese culture, they will sneak up on a fish when they kill it so that the stress hormones don't go into the meat and you get a more tender meat. Again, going back to the body, when you have the negative thought, your brain turns on the chemical factory that triggers the flight or flight system, shuts down the digestive system, sends the stress hormones to the muscles so that you can run faster. All of that is happening to the animal when they are dying. So what is in that meat? It is stress hormones, all of the negative chemicals we don't want. So if you're going to put that in your body, you have to know that that's going to do something to your body. So I'm going to leave it at that. I'm really not going to push on vegetarianism, but it's important that people understand this is the choice that you're going to make. They are an irritant. They can cause anxiety and depression. Just notice. I would say just start noticing. Drink a lot of water and maybe have fruit for breakfast, a salad for lunch, and then whatever you would normally eat for dinner. And notice what happens. How do you feel? Just ask your body and start to pay attention. And just the sheer awareness is going to be enough to help guide you to the right path. I have found, especially with sugar, if I have sugar, I feel a sense of chaos in my body. My mind feels more agitated. I have more negative thoughts. I've also done the longest was a 21-day juice fast. I had orange juice for 21 days. It was amazing. Never felt hungry, never felt deprived, lost 20 pounds. Unfortunately, I gained it back when I started eating cooked food, so that's my own personal journey. I'm working on that. But certainly the clarity and the joy, my goodness. Day 14 I was riding on clouds. Unbelievable. And then, of course, we ended December 21st and Christmas came and I had all the good stuff and I felt the difference. And I know now for myself what will bring me to the best place of clarity and calmness. And now I'm working with the ego and the mind and the wants to weed that out and get back to what I know will facilitate the most connection and intuition. So I am by no means perfect. I'm not preaching. I'm not telling anybody to feel guilt. I'm just telling you what I've learned. And I do personally want to get back to that place of clarity and connection and there's a peace, there's a calmness, an internal physical calmness that comes with really, really, really clean eating. And before I move on, I'll just say, if anybody is looking for what I would suggest for the most clear, most calm, most clean and pure, I would say fruit. In the Bible, it tells us in Genesis 1:29 that the food with the seed should be our meat. So that is how we were designed. Our bodies have certainly adapted to be able to manage what we have put into it, and that's fine. We will live, right? We're just not going to live the best possible life. And so choices have to be made. And I'm, like I said, working on it as well. So the calmness provides the openness. There's a surrender and a release that happens through the calmness. So when we are calm, we are open. When we are open, more flows. When we are open, we soften. And if you sit in stillness, so if you've come to a place where you're looking for some guidance, what I would suggest is sit in a quiet place alone. Call it meditation if you will. You don't have to. Don't wrestle with the thoughts. Let them come, let them go, watch them. Primarily focus on softening in the body. I would start with the feet and kind of work your way up. You can start with the head and work your way down. Both work. Focus on opening the heart cavity, opening the chest. I like to call in the angels. I don't necessarily care to channel or work with any other entities because there's no way for me to know for sure where they're coming from. So I call specifically on angels who I know are able to facilitate whatever I'm looking for. Usually I call in Archangel Michael just for protection, to clear the space, clear the energy, and make sure that while I open myself that I am safe. I like to call in any other angels who can help cleanse and purify. And then I speak directly to our Father, and I just speak to God and mostly primarily in gratitude. Thank you for this space. Thank you for the roof over my head. Thank you for the dogs. Thank you for the kids. Thank you that I know that I am cared for. Thank you for your promises. I'm looking for guidance on this specific situation. I am here. I am ready. I am open. Guide me. And then just sit. And thoughts will come, thoughts will go. Some of them will be of importance. Some of them won't. But allowing them to happen, actually, it's almost like you've given them the time that they needed to be heard, and now they can go. If it is more of a monkey mind thought or a melodramatic rabbit hole, then you can start the practice of watching it and saying, okay, I see you, thank you, please move on. But really just call in the guidance and ask for what you need and it will come. I would say bare minimum 10 minutes. If you can go 30, great. I find 45 minutes to an hour is when I really feel most tapped in and get to a point where I kind of just don't even want to stop. But if all you can do is 2 minutes, then do 2 minutes. Start where you are. You're perfect just as you are. You're right where you need to be to learn what you need to learn. Go easy on yourself. Do not beat yourself up. Those thought demons that get created when we're hard on ourselves are far worse than any other mistakes that we're making. Same with the food. If you're eating meat, dairy, and eggs, don't beat yourself up. Eliminate one. Have it less. Just take baby steps and make sure that you're not creating those thought demons that are going to torture you and make you feel guilty and shame and fear, and that's way worse. So just baby steps, kindness and gentleness with yourself. And then if you can, just as often as you can in a day, I probably just had the idea, we'll set an alarm, maybe every 2 hours, to just sit for 5 minutes. I am meditating primarily in the morning, and I'm kind of feeling like in the afternoons, I'm tired, exhausted, the kids, all the stuff. There probably needs to be more touch base, more connection points. So I probably will be looking to add in 2 or 3 more moments in the day of just stillness and calmness. So that is all I have for you today. I really hope this is helpful. If it was helpful, or if you have any questions, please let me know in the comments below. I absolutely want to hear from whoever is watching this, and would love to know if there's anything else that you need or any other way that I can serve you. As always, you can reach out to me at rebecca@vibementor.com. Otherwise, I'll look forward to seeing you on the next one. Take care. Much love.